Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Olga is here. For those of you who haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel and please hit the bell as well so you can get the latest notifications about the videos I post out there for you guys. Today's video, I'll try to keep it short and concise. It's going to cover a very important makeup technique. It's going to involve prepping your eyelid before you apply eyeshadows. Now, we all know that before applying eyeshadows, we go with a primer, right? So normally what I do is I use like Urban Decay. I use the anti-aging primer potion and then I start applying my eyeshadow, but this time it's going to be different. What I have done so far is I have applied the YSL primer and I have applied this Hourglass foundation to my entire face, but I have not applied anything to the eyelid area, and I'll explain why. So a lot of times what I notice is that when people do their eyeshadows, and I have done this too, is you would prime, you would conceal your areas under your eyes, and then the eyelids are sort of left in their own universe, and they can look sort of separate from the entire face when everything is done, like say when you have done your eyeshadow and your makeup, and it kind of looks like they live in their own separate universe. The good thing to do is to apply some primer, and it doesn't even have to be like the entire primer for your face. You can still do like a little bit of the eye primer, or you can use any sort of primer or even any kind of like moisturizer for your eyelids. And then what I've been doing is I've been going with the concealer. Now, we all know we apply concealer here, but not only will I apply concealer to this area to conceal my designer bags under my eyes, but I'll also apply concealer to my eyelids. And I'm going to use this, of course, concealer, the Tarte Shape Tape. In my mind, this has the best kind of coverage and the best kind of pigment that is offered in this particular concealer. So I am going to dot here as usual, and you can like conceal this area if you have any like 11s or something like that here, and dot a little bit here. But I also apply concealer to my eyelids. As you can see, specifically I will focus in this area right here close to my nose, and I'll explain a little bit further down the road why I'm doing that. Now we're going to stipple this area. I'm using this Wayne Goss brush, and this is brush number 10. And I'm kind of stippling the concealer under my eyes. And you can use any sort of brush that you like. You can use the beauty blender. Heck, you can use your fingers if you don't have long fingernails. Now, for this area on the lids, I prefer using something like a spatula looking brush, something like this. This is Real Technique. And I basically paint this on. Okay, so now that corner, remember I told you apply some concealer to the corner which is closest to your nose. Now, if you have short fingernails, like I do on a couple of my fingers right here, really finger is kind of the best when it comes to stippling or tapping in the concealer into this area right here. Or you can use like a miniature beauty blender or any kind of sponge. I'm going to show you. Recently I got this tiny little thing right here. This is by L'Oreal, and this is a small sponge, and it has like a sharper edge right here. So you can go in with something like this if you have long fingernails, because we don't want to be hurting our eyes with our fingernails, right? If you have a short fingernail, you can just stipple it like this. What I have noticed is that why I think paying attention to this area is very important is when you go in with your eyeshadow afterwards, I have noticed that it's very hard to blend in this corner, and primarily because the pigment of the skin in this area can be somewhat different. The skin on the eyelids as well as the area right here is thinner than regular skin, and it feels like because of that some veins or blood vessels are sitting closer to the surface of the skin, and so it's kind of hard to keep all of this the same uniformal color, so to speak, when you're trying to blend your eyeshadow. And it's really hard to blend and even out the eyeshadow, specifically when I'm trying to blend in like purple eyeshadow. So what I am trying to essentially create is an even canvas and prepping this area for the eyeshadow, so it's easier for me to blend it nice and even. So after this, what you can do is you can set your eye with some setting powder, like a Laura Mercier setting powder. Any kind of setting powder will do. It doesn't have to be any specific brand. Maybelline Fit Me is a great setting powder. Set your eye bag and set your eyelids. And maybe it might seem like this is a lot of steps, and some of you might say, oh, this is redundant, you don't have to do it. True, you don't have to do any of this. It's totally preference, you know. If you don't use any concealer, let's say you only use foundation, then what you want to do is you can do this step with foundation. So if you don't use a concealer product at all and you use some kind of a CC, BB foundation, a low, medium, high coverage foundation, you can use foundation on your eyelids and then set your eyelids with a setting powder of sorts. And now that you have set your eyes, they are nice and ready to apply some eyeshadow. This particular step is going to make it easier to work and blend your eyeshadow, especially when it comes to pastels, especially when it comes to, like, say, colors that are like pastel greens or pastel purples, and really any kind of matte eyeshadows. It's going to really be easier because you have evened out the eyelid tone and you have given it the same kind of like gaming rules, so to speak, for your eyeshadows, so everything blends in and looks nice and even there. So what you can also do is, of course, you don't have to do any kind of sophisticated work with your eyeshadow. You can like leave it at this, do your eyebrows, and you're done, especially if it's like for like a any kind of a work-related makeup look, so something wearable. You can also go into like transition colors. You can go into something like this. I'm going to show you what I'm using. This is in the Marc Jacobs collection. You can go into like really light transition color and you can apply that evenly all over your eyelid. If you are prepping to like to go to work or school, or you need like a more wearable look, you don't even have to do a lot of sophisticated eyeshadow look. You just want to make sure that your eyes are all together with your face and they're not residing in a separate universe. And that's pretty much it for today's tip, eye-opening makeup tip, so to speak, in terms of prepping and evening out your skin tone with your eyelids to prep them nicely. It's like prepping your canvas or having a nice even canvas to work with. And then you can take this look wherever it takes you. But now the stage is set and it's all prepped and we're ready to do any kind of makeup look. So with all of that said, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Please give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And I will see you all in my next video. I love you. Bye.